In this video, we're going to show you how to draw part 2.2. And in this drawing, we're going to learn how to create sketches. We're going to learn how to revolve instead of extrude. And then we are also going to learn how to put on fillets, or these little roundovers right here. So, to get started, we'll want to go to Fusion 360, and we are going to want to make sure that we are in our Principles of Manufacturing, our POM folder, right here. And a review on how to get there is we click on Show Data Panel, and we want to go through and find our correct folder that we need to be in. So then what we need to do is we need to save this. So I'm going to click on Save. It's going to bring up the name of my file, and I want to save this as 2.2. Alright, so on this drawing, the method that I'm going to take to do this is I'm going to draw this top left corner right here. I'm going to then mirror it over an imagined center line, and then we are going to revolve it around the center for this first step. And then after that, I'm going to create rounds on these corners. So let's get started here. To start off, I'm just going to sketch this. So our origin is going to be somewhere right in there. And then I'm going to just sketch this line, or this outline, before we get going. So to do that, we're going to create a sketch. And on this, I'm going to select my XZ plane. So this is our Z-axis and this is our X-axis. I want to select my XZ plane, and I'm going to create my sketch on there. So to do a revolve and a mirror, I want to make special type of lines called construction lines. So these lines are not our object lines that we can extrude. These are just reference lines that we're able to measure off of or do different things off of there. So I'm going to click on my line, and I'm going to create a construction line. So I'm going to start at my origin, and I'm going to go up, and the dimension doesn't really matter for that. I just want to have a vertical line. I can click on the little check mark right there to finish that. And my line is still selected. I'm going to click there, and I'm going to go to the left-hand side over there and click on the little check mark. So here, this is that center line. Here is that line that I'm going to eventually mirror over. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that my line is selected, and I'm going to turn off my construction line. We know that it's a construction line when we're drawing, when we see a bunch of little dashes, and an object line is going to be nice and solid for us. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to get away from that origin, and I'm going to place my first point on this horizontal line. I'm going to go straight up, go over to the left a little bit, come down at an angle. We want to make sure that we're not at 90 degrees, so I'm just going to go over at a little bit of an angle. I'm going to go horizontal, straight up, make sure that we're not in the same line as that. It's going to be a little bit lower, so I'll click over there. I'm going to go horizontal to the left, and then I'm going to come straight down and make sure that I'm snapped down to my horizontal construction line right here. So that is all the sketching that we need to be doing for this. The next part is we need to dimension it. So to start off, we are going to dimension from this side to that side to get the overall width. Remember, we've got that center line in here, so any dimension that goes the entire width of this, we can divide by 2. So in this instance, half of 5, which is the overall width, would be 2.5. And to this corner right here is stated at 2, so what we want to do is we want to cut that in half. So from here to the center is going to be 2.5. From that corner to the center is going to be 1. So we come back to Fusion, select our sketch dimension, and click from there to there, and that is going to be 2.5. And then from here to that point right there is going to be 1 inch. Now, if your drawing gets a little bit goofy, like mine has, it's okay. All of these lines are still blue. We're still able to edit these and move these around. So what I'm going to do is I'll hit escape so that I'm not going to be dimensioning anymore. And what I can do is I can move around my different lines and corners and points to make sure that everything is going to be in the right position. The ones that I can't move are this outside line and then this point right here, because I have that dimensioned and constrained in place. All right. So the next one that we have is this one right here, which is 0.75 diameter right there. So if we take 0.75 and divide that by 2, that's 0.375. So I'll dimension from there to there, and that is going to be 0.375. Let's go back to the print. The height of this is, the overall height is 2. So remember we have that mirror line right there. So that is going to be split in half, and it's going to be a height of 1. And from the thickness right there is 0.25, so we can split that in half, and that height is going to be 0.125. So I come back to Fusion, and the height from there to there is 1 inch, and the height from here to here is 0.125. So we'll put that right there, 0.125. And we are almost done with this print. So we have a width right here of 1/4 of an inch. Now this isn't mirrored or revolved, so that one is exactly 0.25. So I'm going to click on that top line and type in 0.25. And we have 2 more dimensions. We have this one right here, which is 0.4, and that is not mirrored or revolved, so we can take that one exactly at 0.4. And then we also have this angle. From there to there, the angle is 18 degrees. So we'll go back to Fusion. We click on that top line right there. That is a dimension of 0.4. And then to dimension angles, we click on one line, and then we click on the other line, and then bring this down, and we change it to 18 degrees. So there we have our fully constrained sketch based off of this print right here. Now, what we want to do is, after we have this sketch right here, we want to flip this over that construction line or that mirrored line right there. So I'm going to come back to Fusion, and inside Create, we have that little drop down. We come down to Mirror, we click on Mirror, and we have another little pop-up window. First one is Objects, and the second one is Mirror Line. So in our Objects, I'm going to select that line, this line, horizontal, the angled, just that sketch that we have dimensioned. We do not want to select our construction lines just yet. So after our 7 object lines have been selected, I'm going to select my mirror line, and we want to make sure that we are doing this bottom horizontal line right here. We do not want this one. So I'm going to select this bottom one, and it's going to give us a little preview, and we hit OK. And now we have a shape right here that is able to be revolved. So this is it with our sketching. I'm going to click on Finish Sketch, and I'm going to move on to Revolve, which is this right here. If you don't see it in our toolbar, we can click Create and go down to Revolve. So I'll click there. This, seeing that we only have one profile, it automatically selected that, but let's say that it didn't automatically select my profile. We want to make sure that we have our profile selected, and we select that profile of our sketch. And after that, we're going to select our axis. So we click that select box right there where it says axis, and I'm going to select my axis. And you'll see that it moves around. Press OK. Now, right now we are unable to view anything in our with our model. What we can do is we can press down our middle scroll wheel, and that will be able to pan. If we hold down Shift and press our middle scroll wheel, we're able to rotate or revolve that around. Another way we can do this is we can also grab our orbit up on top, and we can move our orbit around as well. Right, so there we have our model. The last thing that we need to do is on sheet 2 and we want to have a fillet or a round of 0.1 inches on the top and on the bottom. So we're going to go back to Fusion, and we are going to create a fillet, and we are going to select that edge. We're going to select that edge. I'm going to hold down Shift, and I'm going to flip over my part. Hold down Shift and also click and hold down my scroll wheel, and I'm going to select that corner and that edge, and then I'm going to type in 0.1. After that, I'm going to press Enter, and we have our finished part. When we're done with that, we want to make sure that we save. So we'll hit Save, press OK, and then you can show your instructor and move on to 2.2L and 2.2 LB.